Hello, everyone.
Hi guys, welcome to our new episode.
Yeah, we're back to the office, the spaghetti office, and I'm Leonardo. I'm a senior level artist at Ubisoft Toronto, and I'm working franchise Far Cry 6, and worked on the Division 2 and other games. And in with me, I have Gianluca.
Hi everyone, I'm Gianluca and I'm a developer. I develop business applications like virtual reality simulators or digital products and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So for who's new to the channel, today we're gonna look at the Batman. We're gonna look at the environment of it, and we're trying to analyze and highlight all those little details and little things that have been done to the environment to make it feel AAA, so that you can learn and you can apply those feedbacks to your personal project or your project. And if you're not a game dev, if you're not a game dev, this content is for you to better understand what goes behind video games.
So yeah, that was the agenda, but we heard the feedbacks from you guys, and we actually changed the format a little bit, and we adjust the formula, so it will be more enjoyable to watch, I think, and I hope you like it too. So Leo, if you want to start the video, and let's analyze the gameplay.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Okay, so as you can see, we got cats here,
Hey guys.
and
Mhm.
cats are eating, and they're learning how to eat those things. And you can see, right off the bat how they're like, learning the storytelling of this space. Is very
I
clear
like
in my
how
opinion.
they actually use the picture-in-picture there to explain the training that the cats goes through.
Exactly. So yeah, it's really cool, and I think we can learn a bit. So like, if I stop the frame here, we
Mhm.
can see how. I don't know what happened here, but let's do this. You can see how the cat is kind of has this shape, which is like leading line. So there's like some sort of
Mhm.
leading line here, leading up, and you got elements of storytelling here and there, which is pretty good. You can see the material contrast between the cardboard that is very rough and the shyness of the metal. So yeah, it's pretty cool storytelling. And,
It seems like they use the golden rule to actually take this shot. The Fibonacci rule.
yeah,
It's kind of nice.
yeah, it's something like that, right? And you can see how
Yeah,
the
yeah.
food is right in the middle. Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess if you guys have any question on how they did this sort of training
Shot.
for cats, feel free to ask us. And
Yeah, we usually take questions about our cats video, so you can drop in the chat and we pick them up.
exactly. Obviously, we were joking because today, if you haven't noticed, it's April's Fool, so probably you saw on Facebook other things about that, but yeah, we were just joking. We're not gonna
That was
look at
funny,
cat.
right? Not cringe at all.
Okay, now let's dive into the real game, which is Batman.
Yeah.
So one thing that we learned from this sketch is that we shouldn't make joke anymore. So that was a good. That was a
Yeah,
good.
people actually didn't notice.
So do you wanna tell us a bit about Batman, Barto?
Yeah, this is hey Rhythmic. So this is Batman Arkham Knight, and I'm a huge fan of Batman. Actually, right now we have this kind of green screen, so you can see, but there's a library with a lot of comic books about it. And the first Batman that I played was Arkham Asylum on Xbox 360, and I like it very much. And have you guys ever played it? This is Arkham Knight. This is the third on the entries, and it takes place in Arkham City, where you are you actually go around with the Batmobile, do stuff, fly around. It's very fun, and also I think the games like Spider-Man actually took something from the Batman series and make it their own. Hope you're gonna enjoy the gameplay. Retro Mick. Oh, thank you so much, Retro Mick. Thank you, Michele. You also redeemed an emote. Cool.
So you
Batman
were
is one
saying?
of my favorite characters. So yeah, that was basically it. The gameplay should start right now. Thank you, dude.
9 months ago, Joker was cremated. I pressed the button and burnt the...
So one thing that I really noticed that it's raining, and you know what rain means?
We waited.
A lot of paddles, I guess.
Paddles.
Inevitable power struggle. But it didn't come.
Exactly.
Crime actually fell. Deep down, I knew war was coming.
So the entire art style of the game is very grungy, gritty. It's a third-person game, but as you're gonna see, it starts in a first-person view.
Interesting choice. So you are a policeman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool, yeah. Actually, no, I shouldn't say policeman in this.
No problem.
Yes, but you should say police office.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Oh, I see. Because of politically correct things.
Yes.
Sure.
It feels like a city during that cutscene.
No, you know what? Make it waffles. With a side of bacon.
It did feel like a city.
Whatever you
Yeah.
say, officer. Oh, and if you want more coffee,
We will see. We will see. Okay, so I guess we are looking around.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner, Officer Owens. But there's a guy smoking over there in the corner booth.
Wait here. I'll have a word.
So, have you guys ever played Arkham Knight? I know the actual launch on the PC, it was kind of troubled. The porting wasn't so reliable at the launch of the game.
Oh my god, that's good. It's me. Oh god, okay. I raised a bit the volume of the gameplay. Let us know if it's too loud.
After 4 months, yeah.
That's a nice introduction to the game. The hell? So I like
All
how
the
they...
games with you. Yeah, there you go. What do you mean retro mic with fewer pixels? You mean with lower resolution on your Nintendo Switch? Yeah, it actually seems like an horror game.
This demonstration used just 5 ounces of my latest toxin. Tomorrow, this will seem like child's play.
It's getting there, it's getting there.
This is your only warning.
This
They just needed this city completely empty so Batman could go around and smash things
The only
with
people
his
left on the streets are the sword
Batmobile.
and enjoy the chaos.
They found an excuse.
Gotham's finest.
Scum.
As always, guys, we are only watching the first hour, 2 hours of the game. But if you guys feel like, oh, you guys should look at that mission or something specific, let us know, and we will try our best to do that. We watched the first hours of the game so that we don't spoil it too much to people watching or for people who haven't played the game. Indeed, looks like a city.
24 hours for us to lose
Get this.
control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all.
There you go. Maybe next time we
at
might
that.
cut a bit the cinematic so that we can get straight into the game a bit faster. But
Well, that's a very nice cinematic.
anyway, there you go. And bam, that's where we start playing finally. And as someone was saying in the chat, this looks like a city. We will see later if it plays like a city, but for now it's cool. And right off the bat, you can see how the Batman logo, which is like the main thing, and that's actually signposting where the objective is. You can see that it tells you also how many meters there. It's right there, it's right visible, it's visible because you got contrast and everything, but on top of that you see that it's now in the middle, but it's, guess what, on one of the third of the rule of third. So if we draw those, you can see that. And this is not just to make it pretty in terms of composition, but it's also to to better lead the eyes there, to see this thing, and etc. And when I say things about rule of third and how things are placed in the frame, it's not just an art thing because those are games. So when we move things around the frame, it's also because of we do a lot of playtest and we try to improve certain navigation and player leading experience in this kind of frame. But yeah, you can see how this is like right here in the rule of third, and like right off the bat here you can see a glimpse of the city, right? You can see there are like this thing floating around. There are like taller buildings that are quite visible. There's like churches, Gothic churches, or whatever it is, and you can see there is some sort of train going around, and you get an idea of what the city is about. There's a statue here or something, and one thing that is worth mentioning is that all of this is possible thanks of the lights that the city is making, and you can see like this is like a good example there how the light creates the silhouette of this thing, which I guess they are tree or something. But if that light wasn't there, this would have been like the same sort of value, which wouldn't give a lot of information. Same like for this one, you can see how it highlights the silhouette of the thing, or like here a bit. We go like here, you can see there's a bit of light that highlights this thing. There's a bit of ambient fog behind that brings up this silhouette there. Same for this thing and the background. So in general, I think they did a good job to make it feel like very big by separating those layers in the city to make it more like make it more looking like a city. That makes sense. And yeah, it's looking good. What else can we see there? I think that's the main thing, like just an overview of the city, and you got the objective, which is right where the light is, so it's like very in your face.
I still needed the UI to understand where I needed to go.
I know there's different people.
So I don't know if it's intended, Leo, but there are no cams during the
Yeah, I noticed.
drawing.
I don't know why. We are still learning how to stream things. We are pretty new with this stream thing, so we are always learning.
I didn't think Scarecrow had what it takes to pull this off. He proved us all wrong.
Alright, so we are reaching that objective there. There's a big moon, which is pretty nice, and maybe in the next shot I'm gonna talk about the moon again and how the light is placed there.
I'm just glad you made it out okay. Sorry, I've got to go. Stay safe, Barbara.
You mean in terms of
You
light
still know how
sources?
to make an entrance.
How's the evacuation going?
Yeah, cool.
Last bus crossed the city limits an hour ago. I'm just glad my little girl got out when she did. Now the real work begins.
Any lead on Scarecrow?
We were tracking an unknown military vehicle speeding through Chinatown. It's the only lead we've had all night, but they gave us the slip. With the evacuation, I just
Look at
don't have
that.
the manpower left
Oh,
in the city.
light.
If you find
So
it,
nice.
tell your men not to
So good.
engage. I'll deal with it.
Do you really think Scarecrow's crazy enough to detonate a chemical weapon in Gotham?
I won't let that happen, Jim.
Feels like I
case you need to
can
reach me,
touch Batman,
It's
you
going
know?
to be a long night.
Yeah, you can touch his boobs.
I can pass. Oh, no, not that.
No, him.
Hey, Batman.
Oh,
Very
it's
damn
Batman.
time.
Oracle, I need the location of Unit 247.
Already working on it. How's my dad doing?
He's holding up.
Somehow he always does.
Alright,
Okay,
so
I'm sending through the squad car's location. Be careful. It's not looking good out there.
So again, we go back to the control of the camera, and you can see how this frame is so dynamic in terms of line movements and things. Let me see if I can get the webcam back. Group, just a second. Webcam? No, wasn't that one. Sorry. I'm just messing with OBS. Maybe this. No, it's not that one. All right, for today we're not gonna have the webcam on this screen, but what I wanted to say in this shot is how dynamic the city is in terms of lines and movement. There's like a lot of things going on. Obviously, the rain makes it even more like accentuate, but you can see how there is like a road going there, and then on top of that we got this rail going like that, or something like that. So there's like this very strong dynamic lines. I guess like this, and then the yellow like that. And they're all kind of leading towards that direction. And then we got one of the hero building in this shot, which is like the church here, and the helicopter searching on thing, which is, one is like right there on the intersection again. For who's not familiar with the rule of third is just a sort of a rule that you can follow to balance the image in a way that is nice for the eye, and it's used in everywhere, like film, game, photography. So it's really cool. And you can see how this location here is one on the one of the thing. It might not be the objective, but you can definitely tell that they want to give a bit of highlights to this like building here. It's pretty cool. So one other thing that that just popped up that I saw is those little lines here, and I believe those are to signpost the navigation for Batman. And you can see how on every chimney or like cranes or things, there is some like lights, and I think that's the signpost where they are in terms of height. And I think you can grab them with your grapple and fly in the sky, and you know, so they want to make sure that you will be able to see those. If that makes sense. And yeah, like it's raining, so obviously because it's raining, we got plenty of puddles on the road here, on here, and we got some actually water, but it's not a puddle. But in general, we will see like plenty of puddles and material contrast between dry and wet, and you can see already one here. So since we have this structure here, you can see that the rain, because it's now raining on the structure, because the structure is like blocking it, the rain is only raining on the side. And in fact, you can see how under this canopy, this gas station is sort of dry. So that definitely that's something that, you know, a lot of games do. And don't forget to do that. If you ever a scene that has a lot of rain, don't forget to add the part that are dry, that are where things are covering from the rain, which is really important. Adds logic and also adds material contrast. Let's see how it goes next.
So do you guys think I will die during this gameplay, or do you have faith in me? Let's actually see it with a prediction. Let's see how many people don't have faith in me. So you think I won't die in this?
Oh, look at that kick there. Alright, let's see now.
You're safe.
Thanks, Batman. I thought they were gonna kill me.
Look at these cinematics, so cool.
The city's overrun. We don't stand a chance.
Stay here. I'll send someone to pick you up.
What are you doing?
Evening the odds.
Is this the cinematic, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, it's right here. Here.
Remind me of Fast and Furious, yeah? Do you guys like Fast and Furious?
I need to track that military vehicle.
A squad car has picked up the pursuit. I'm relaying its location now.
I think it's kinda meh, you know, the movies.
I'm pretty sure you can make a better movie, John.
Fall off your men, Jim.
So you can see here already how, and that's like a good shot to show like this puddle here. How this puddle is like nice and has like a nice reflection. This wetness of the asphalt has a nice reflection with this light. And one thing that I said in the previous episode that I want to repeat because I think it's really, really a key to make your environment shine is lighting placement. There are, let's say, two ways to place lights. No, there are many ways, but let's divide in two ways. And I'm gonna draw a sort of a room here. So in this case, this light here, let me use the, sorry, let me use this red color. So this light here is on a wall. So because of that, we're gonna put it here. So that's our wall, okay. And the player view, the player camera right now is somewhere around here. That's the player camera. That is looking, I guess, slightly down or something. It's looking slightly that way, and it has a field of view of this way. That's what the camera can see. So when you place a light on the wall like that, so it's not like from the top, but it's like from the horizontal plane, that will bring all the details that you have on your roughness in your material. So in this case, you can see that the crossing stripes have a different value for the roughness from the asphalt, and because they are wetted, you can see all the details and all the normal map. So you can see how detailed those details that I'm gonna draw here. So like these sort of details here, which are here, are nicely presented. And that's because by placing the light here, the light will bounce on this floor like that, because light bounce everywhere, and it will bounce back to your camera, and that's how you get all the nice reflection, all the nice normal map information, all the nice things. On the other hand, like in things like this, you can do that sometimes placing a light in this position, which will be lighting in that direction. It might be against like the gameplay of the space, because somehow you're putting the light in the face of the player, and you might not want that because the player might get blind or other thing. In other cases, it's less doesn't have that impact, so it's fine to have low light that creates interesting details on the floor level. So I think that's like the cooler way to add light, because it adds a lot of details, in my opinion. But yeah, sometimes it can be a bit hard for the gameplay, for level design, because you are basically blinding the player by placing the camera at where the eyes can see. Another way to place the light, which is, we don't have an example here, but let's imagine that there's a light here or something, and that light will signpost this gate here. So the same. So if you are drawing in this like diagram here, imagine there is a light here that is like going from the top to the floor. That light will then bounce whatever it has to bounce, and then bounce back up. And you can see how it doesn't go straight in the camera, and the camera, in order to see the reflection of that light, will have to be something like here, and has to look down so that you can see the nice details like that. So that's why I think having a light that is placed on a wall or like quite low in your scene will improve the speculas and the details of your floors and environment. A light placed from the top is really good to signpost things. So let's imagine there is a box here that you have to, I don't know, collect or something, or there is a ladder or whatever it is. That will definitely be signposted, because it's like right under the cone of the light, which will highlight. But for sure, having this sort of light will create a nice detail, like the details that we see here. I hope that makes sense. And then obviously we got light from the bottom, which works similar to the way that the light from the top do. And then we got lights that are like on the ground, so lying on the ground, like flares, like torchlight, flashlight, things like that, which in my opinion are also another way to signpost the things that you have to get, and they also get nice reflections. Like imagine you got a torchlight here, or a candle, or a construction lamp that is very low, that will then bounce like that, and then the details will bounce like that. So I think the best way is like to place a light more or less at the same player's height or camera height, and in that way you will get a nice reflection on the floor, most likely. I hope that makes sense.
Go, Oscar 5.
So if you guys from the chat have any questions for Leo, just drop the questions in the chat and we pick them up.
Exactly. Also, because this part is it's like a driving part, you can see how the roads are very wide, and you can see how all the props that are placed on the road, even the car, we saw that we were like crashing on a car and we were like bringing it away, or there was like things like that. Probably all those things, probably even that, maybe no, I don't know. All of these things are all breakable from with a vehicle, which improves the navigation of these streets by getting the player stuck on objects. Have you ever encountered, like, when you play, I don't know, a game and you're like, oh, okay, that's just a lamppost, I'm gonna destroy with a car, and then you get it and you destroy it, but then you find a little post with like metal post, and you're like getting with the car and you get stuck and like, what the hell, why am I able to destroy the lamppost but not the small like 1 meter post? That sometimes happens, but in general, if you're making an environment that is meant for a game where you drive, try to consider that as well, to make sure that you don't place things that are in the way that it can disrupt the player experience.
Actually, Entrange said it's pretty true. It's strange to see the lights on the side of the road and not on the road itself. It feels like something's off. By the way, I love how Batman is usually an hero that doesn't kill people, and in this game you go around with this Batmobile, you go on through people, you shoot missiles to the people. Hello, that's messed up.
Did you just destroy a police car?
No, not you. They destroyed it.
Don't worry, Jim. He's mine.
So obviously there are a lot of colors in terms of light on the city, and I guess that should show a bit of the character of this city. Be like, crazy, all the lights everywhere, all like blending with each other, and I guess it's to give you the feeling of this space. That's the fun part about the physics-based object, that they can get in your cinematic where you don't want them to be.
Where is he? I got nothing to say to you, Batman. Talk, or I'll crush every bone in your body. Okay. He's working out of a penthouse in Chinatown. I swear that's all I know. If you're lying, I'll break the other one. The other one?
My God.
Damn.
Got a new injection thing here going on.
Oracle, check the chemical analysis I've just
A lot of
uploaded.
talking.
Sure.
It's kind of normal at the beginning that there's a lot of talking, because they want you to learn the game, get involved in the narrative, probably.
Full chemical breakdown on the back computer. What are you going to do?
Pancake syrup, yeah.
I'm going to pay him a visit.
Let's hope this is the break we've been waiting for.
So what games would you like guys to see next? Because we are pretty open right now for suggestion, so... The Witcher, yeah. That would be cool though to do.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. Oh, we already did Cyberpunk. We did it last week. If you want to catch up the live stream, it's on our YouTube channel. You can find the entire VOD there or an highlight video of 10 minutes.
Which is not released yet, but it will be released in the following days.
Ah, yeah. Sorry. No problem.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. BTCT. Sorry, I'm really diving here.
Try again.
You should really review your security.
BTC Fly. Okay. Thanks, dude.
Something tells me this wasn't part of the plan.
So as you might know, we are Italian, so we can't speak English. We can't pronounce English or like English-looking names.
That's made things a little more interesting.
Sir, Batman, he's here.
BTC Flair.
Were you expecting
Flair?
to find me, Batman? I'm afraid I must disappoint you. Take a look at the chamber. I want you to know the fear that is
You
coming.
visit Italy. Okay, cool.
Listen up,
What city
Batman.
did you visit?
We're walking out of here, nice and slow. You try anything stupid, I'll blow her brains out.
Charming. But only one of us is getting out of this cell.
Yeah, maybe too much talking. Naples. Okay. On the south. Like Sicily or
Nothing like a little natural
What?
immunity.
Just so you know, Naples is not in Sicily, but that's another conversation we can have later. If you want.
Yeah, I know, but it also said and then he went to the south. South of what? Of Italy, I
Okay,
guess.
so- We are
Salerno.
breast physic. What you mean with the breast physic?
What are you doing here?
Why did Scarecrow lock you up?
Oh, no, Ivy.
No hello.
That
Tell
are
me.
some nice details, yeah.
And what if I don't want to?
Then I burn every plant in
Italian
Gotham.
review should be funny. A review
It
of
started with a
games.
meeting.
What meeting?
Everyone was there. Penguin, Two-Face, Riddler.
So by the way,
Even poor Harley.
in case you didn't know,
Scarecrow said he
me
had
and Leo are from a city
that
near
together we could take
Venice.
you out, and Gotham would be ours.
That's called
Over my
Treviso.
dead body.
I believe that was the idea.
Look at this superhuman person.
I told him that I wasn't interested in his pathetic human games. And when I came to,
I haven't noticed the weird jiggle and triangle.
It's such a shame that his vile toxin has no effect on me. Nature always
I see
wins.
that, yeah. I guess to make it more realistic, you know?
Will he
Yeah,
ever learn?
realistic. That's the word.
You're coming with me.
You only had
So
to
one thing that I notice all the time, every time that Batman is in
What's wrong?
the scene or something, if I go back so slightly,
Will he ever learn?
You just wanted to see this scene again.
yeah, sorry. Realistic gelato. So every time we see Batman, especially at the beginning of every cinematic or every scene, he always has this badass rim light. See that? See that we got like this light here, and this light on his helmet, and a bit of on his cheek, a bit of that on his nose, and in general, it's really good. Like this rim light on characters, it will always looks really cool because it adds a lot of information about the silhouette that otherwise you would not understand. And you can see that if you didn't have those details, you wouldn't able be able to separate Batman from the background, even if it's, you know, the background blurred. Like, you can see a bit here because there is a lighter tone behind it, but in this case it's pretty much the same tone. And you know, thanks to these details, you can figure out the, you know, the silhouette of it. And where you don't see the rim light, your brain will fill the rest. So in this case, the brain knows that this goes like that, and the brains connects here to there, and so you get like that details connect here to the next like bright part. And then obviously if you have a value that is brighter than that is different from the background when it's on, it will pop out a bit more. In fact, I think here you don't see the fact that there's like a layer of the mask here somewhere, so you don't see it, but it doesn't really, you know, break much of this composition thing. But yeah, in general, rim light always, you can add them on character, but you can also add on props in the scene and you know, other things in the scene, which is like really good. Another thing that I know, before we go away to the rim light, it's a good thing when you add a rim light to add it to a place where you don't see it from the frame. So probably right now the rim light is coming from the top corner and it's like leading down, and it's kind of cool. But even if it's in the frame, I think it's cool too. And one other thing that I see here, which I think I mentioned during Cyberpunk, is that we got the main light. Look at a perfect light, which is coming from this direction here. And you see how the light is very like soft, so it's not very hard, but you can see a bit here, like going here and then going a bit there and then somewhere there. So it's creating like, it's giving us a three-dimensionality of his head, and it's giving us details. But on top of that, the light is placed in a way that with his nose, it creates some sort of triangle here. Don't know if you can see it on his cheek, which is like brighter. So we got this area that is bright and this area that is bright. And I think that's another nice way to nicely present a character. If you search on Google magic triangle lighting, you will probably find a lot of information about this triangle thing, which is pretty cool and a pretty nice way and commonly used way to light a character. And then at the end, I think we got a bit of background lighting, which is coming from this direction, which is add a bit of gentle details and information on this other side of the character, which I think helps to add extra details, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Doyo, for the subscribe. How's it going?
Thank you, dude.
Bro? Smash that button. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think, yeah, you can see how even if this character is in an open world and it's just like, you know, quote unquote a random cinematic in the open world, is you can see how custom lit this place is.
Coming with me.
You only had
Exactly, Granducato di Narnia, Dojo. So slow, and there are many puddles because there is rain here, so there are puddles everywhere. Puddles everywhere, apart from this scene.
Got the target, sir. He's cornered. Don't move.
Are you sure it's him?
Confirm.
It looks very good, yeah.
60mm cannon operational.
Look at this. What's going on here? Oh my god.
Fire suppressor engaged.
I guess here is the quick tutorial about shooting from the car. Pretty cool.
Batman, I've spotted.
So you see how, and actually let me go. Actually, that's fine. You see how now we are back to this car here, which is pretty cool, pretty nicely animated and everything. And yeah, we are back to the game, and we are now controlling the camera, and you can see how the cinematic leaves us in a nice composition. So always, this is like when I'm talking about gates in the games, that you can kind of control the viewer camera. This is like one example. So in this case, the player just got back control, so we know that all the players gonna look at like at what we are seeing right now, and that's why, you know, if we draw some rule of third, you can see how this junction here, which is also lit by those two lights, is kind of highlighted, so it suggests that probably player can go either that way or that way. You can see how the line is going that direction, and it's also there on the rule of third. So imagine if this shot was just facing the building, it wouldn't look so cool as this shot here. So because they can control where the camera is gonna be, they made sure that the vehicle was facing a certain angle, so that we were getting a better composition in terms of composition. There's nothing really to highlight here. It's just like, it's nice to say that they tried to keep a good composition. But in general, there is a bit of player leading. Like, because we are on this angle, you can see the road going that direction and then turning there, or you can see the sidewalk on this side going on that direction and going there. You got the lights in the middle, which are also leading there. You got arrows like that, which is pretty cool. So definitely there's a strong directionality towards that direction, and that's also where one of the rule of third intersection is pointing. Yeah, so yeah, looking at this, doesn't look like you have to go everywhere, but you can see in the frame how much directionality we got. Let's keep going.
Unmanned tanks moving to Chinatown. They'll be there any second.
Yeah, Batman was a bit hidden indeed, and I guess that's why the UI is there to help. But yeah, I agree. It's like inside there, so.
There's also this camera effect around the corner. It's like bluish.
As we say earlier, you can see how in this space here, pretty much most of the props, pillars and things, you can see how the bridge is floating. They're all breakable, and that's you know, just to allow us to improve the experience of the driving, to improve the driving experience and the taxi experience. Now you're being a taxi driver, picking up people. Thanks, Call Me Dog, to contributing to the challenge. As someone of you might know, we got a challenge when we reach 30,000 spaghetti points on this channel. Borto will dance for 1 minute the spaghetti dance.
Activate the Batmobile weapon diagnostics. It's time to go to war.
You want to see the spaghetti dance? Well, you should drop more spaghetti points then. Yeah, that's probably true.
Batman, I'm seeing a transport deploying more tanks at Panassa Studios. I've warned GCPD.
It breaks everything and it doesn't pay taxes.
I'm heading there now.
Community challenge 25% complete. Oh,
Come on, guys, we got it.
80,000 points. This is getting too real.
Also, in the future, we are planning to invite some guests in this live stream or in other format. So stay tuned, because maybe in the future you will see new faces from the industry, either games or film, joining us and telling us random things like I do.
So many spaghetti points. It's becoming to get. It's scarier now, you know, because it feels like it could actually be possible.
It will happen. It will happen. No worry.
Don't. I need the isolation chamber prepped at the GCPD lockup. I'm bringing in Ivy.
So remember, Batman doesn't kill people, but he just destroyed those tanks one by one.
Did you hear about the guy working with Scarecrow? Bad case of bat envy.
Good to have you here, Batman. Bring her down to the lockup on the lower level.
Look at those pipes. So when I stop here, maybe a bit. I think that's fine. And I want to highlight finally pipes. Yes. I want to analyze how the details are placed here. And as I always say, when we have a wall like that, and then we have a floor, well, what we usually should be working on is how the wall meet the floor, and that's where we need to put some details to help that transition. And even if we have a prop that are on the wall, on the floor like that, it's also a nice way to work on this part too. So you see how we create like 90 degrees thing, and those are areas that we should be working on. So we can see, if we try to look around, you can see how here we got this vertical guardrail, rail, don't know how you call it, which is that, and then it's meeting with the floor, which is actually, let me change color for the floor so that we can maybe, so the floor is going to be yellow. And you can see how the floor is something here. And what they did to improve the blending of the details is, in fact, to add this sort of fit on this thing. So we got an extra thing here. It's really cool. And then we got a bigger metal plate there. And then lastly, we got this thing, which is like the platform, the different concrete material platform thing. And then I think that's it in that case. And if we are drawing this, what they did in here, you can see how we got this base of the thing here. Plus we got the platform where the base is screwed on or welded on. And then the base is screwed on this, actually let me change color, let's use purple. You can see this platform here is this platform here. And by doing that, now I hope you can see how the details goes. So from the mesh, from like where the mesh is touching the floor, you got like this nice transition of details that helps the eye and everything. And you can see that everywhere. So if we look, for example, on this wall over here, it's a bit dark, but let's look at that. We got, oh, actually we can zoom there, yeah. Got this wall there, and then we got the floor, which is like that. And you can see again that in the corner where the wall meet the floor, they added all sorts of details, which is, we got this pipe here or something, we got this wall color variation, and we got a bit of sidewalk there, just like a little bit. And then probably there are some decals here, and then we got the floor. So if we look at in our diagram, you can see how they have a variation on the wall, which is like the color variation, which is really cool. And then we got some, there was like a cable or something there, which is cool too. And then on top of that, we have some sidewalk, which is here. And then lastly, some details on the ground to have that. So as you can see, even on the wall, they kind of use the same way of transition in terms of details to create a better image, because you want to really avoid to have sharp edges where the wall meets the floor, or where the props meet the floor. And I hope that helps what I'm saying. And in the same way as this, we can see the same thing happening on the pillar. So on the ceiling, you can see there's a pillar here, and there's the ceiling, and you almost can't see where the pillar meets the ceiling because of the amount of details that are there. So you can see there is like this metal beam here, or metal support, that is helping merging that concrete pillar there. Same on this side, same on that side, which is pretty cool. And then on top of that, we got the cables that are creating contrast in terms of material choice and type of what we're seeing. Like we got metal, we got concrete, we got rubber, so we got plenty of details, we got plenty of contrast. And for sure, what we don't see here is those like sharp lines where mesh intersect with each other, which is pretty cool. Also, talking about material contrast, we got another example here. We got this shiny pipe here, which is pretty cool and it's pretty unique. And you can see how nicely it reflects the lights. We got this still metal, but in this case, it's a bit older metal, which is that one here. This is like massive pipe thing. Love that there are pipes, cables, and paddles in this game. That's the deal. That's the real deal. Like they really understood what makes a game cool, and they say, okay, let's use those everywhere. And like, oh yeah, it's cool. So you can see how we got one material here, we got one material there, and then lastly the orange cable here, which is another material. So you can see how by matching those materials together, you create some contrast. Imagine if the pipe number 1 wasn't like this shiny, it would have looked kind of samey, but because it's that shiny, it creates that kind of contrast with the material. And contrast is something that you want in everything. You want contrast in the thematic when you're dressing a space. You want contrast in the material. You want contrast in the light to attract the eye to that location. You want contrast in the way that you play the game. So in some area maybe it's not, some area might be very intense, other area might be very easy and narrative driven area, and that's to create that sort of contrast. So definitely the brain likes contrast and likes contrast, I guess. Is that detail or displacement? So that geometry here, like for example, if you take for example this pipe here, the geometry of it would be probably a sort of a cylinder with some silhouette details. So it's gonna be like something like that, like something that gives a bit of silhouette information in terms of geometry, but will not have all of those details. What adds those details is a map called normal map, which is we can call it the displacement of game, which makes the lights simulating the fact that we have some extrusion and some more complex shape than their geometry, and that's to save on polygons, because if this pipe will have all the polygons that it needs to create this sort of details, the scene will be too expensive in general. So thanks to this normal map, we can achieve those sort of details without having too many polygons. The limit of the normal map is that it will never affect the silhouette of it. So for example, if the normal map has like this detail that you see here, which are like, I believe from the normal map, or probably the normal map, you will see them like that. They will never go over the silhouette, and that's like the limitation of normal map. And that's why when we make mesh in 3D, you really need to focus on the silhouette of the mesh rather than on the you need to focus on both things, but mainly on the silhouette, because where you don't need the silhouette, you can always add details and geometry with the normal map kind of thing, if that makes sense. And yeah, hope that answers your question. Again, guys, if you have questions, feel free to ask it. We'll try our best to answer. I really like those things here. Let me see if I can
Any
get
progress with the fear toxin analysis?
It's gonna
Oh my
take
God,
a
it's
little while
always talk.
longer. Drop by the clock tower when you're ready, and I'll show you what I've got so far.
Who taught you to drive?
Indeed. Batman, so Captain America? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Batman.
Honestly, why do you even
Cap
bother
is
with
so boring.
Civil unrest? There's a war on the streets.
What about
We
in a
don't have the
fight,
manpower
Captain
or the
America
equipment.
versus Batman?
Well, look who it is.
Ivy.
Huh?
What?
That's one less thing to worry
Cap,
about.
yeah, Cap is
Is the isolation
Someone
one of
doesn't agree
the
with it.
most boring heroes of the Marvel universe.
Oh, good.
Cap is
Another
poor as
friend.
fuck, yeah. You see? Yeah.
You feel safer now that I'm all locked up? It was Harley who broke
Talk
me out
about
of
that
that
shit
police
again.
cell in Bloodhaven. Why don't you try arresting her?
You need to be careful, there are plenty of Italians in this chat probably, and oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh
There are two
no.
of them.
No. I didn't know this.
I've got men searching as we speak. Screw you. Damn bureaucrat.
No.
We're
I think
on our
no.
own. We can handle it, Jim. What's
No,
the
it's a good
latest?
What's
answer.
next?
We've got incidents
Ketchup
cropping
on
up
your
all over the
spaghetti?
city. Cam,
I don't
give
think
us a
so.
rundown.
So I'm gonna tell you a fact. So I was in Jamaica with a friend, and
We've lost contact with the fire crew from
we
Station
wanted to
17.
make a pasta,
We've got their
but we
last
couldn't
known
find
location,
the
but they're not
tomato
gonna
paste.
survive out
And
there
we
for
found
long.
something that was like looking like a tomato paste, like it was in some sort of jar.
It's a
And we're
strange
like, oh,
Yeah.
that must be tomato sauce. So we cooked everything and we put it in the pasta, and then we find out that when we were eating it that was ketchup, and it was like so too much. But because we were like, oh, we shouldn't waste food, we just ate it. But
Look,
never
I
again.
know you're busy, but anything you
Never
can
again.
is going to save lives.
So do
Don't
you
worry,
ever
Jim.
mixed
I have
red
someone
wine
got
and
the lead on
Coke?
Scarecrow. I'll see what I can do.
Red wine and
Good to hear.
Coke? What the hell?
I've got
It's dope. I don't think so.
I think
Why should you
French
waste red
people
wine?
drink red wine and Coke, right? I think we have some French people here.
the skeleton.
I'll look into these later.
Is it a
Scarecrow's
thing?
the priority.
I ate spaghetti with ketchup and beans. Ketchup and beans.
Fernandez, it's Gordon. Give me an
It's
update.
very strong. Okay, cool.
Close before.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, God.
So Spanish people drink red wine and Coke.
Yeah.
I never heard of it. There's one thing that actually I did a few times. It's beer and Coke, and we call it diesel. You know.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that for real?
That's okay.
He
Yeah.
ain't gonna be able to live with himself when he
It's
finds out what
fine.
he did
It's
in that
not so
document.
great, but
He's
it's
gonna
not
lose his badge,
so
for
bad.
sure. Owens is a good cop.
Hey, Batman! I guess Scarecrow gave you the slip. You broke my wrist for nothing! He's got plans for you, Batman. You and all your friends. Tonight's the night we finally break the Bat.
The one thing that I wanna talk about here, which is still back to the details that we were talking earlier, is again we got this this door here that gets there, and then we have this little concrete base of the door, and then we have this grate and then we have this like little gap here, and then we got this color, the like painted line or something, and then we got the end of the tiles that is like that, and it creates like a nice transition. So if we have to draw this in the 2D kind of representation of what this is, you can see how we got this cell thing which has pipes here and there, as here, there, and there, which is cool. And then we got a bit of like the base here, which is that one. Then we got the grate, which is that, and then we got these painted lines, which is this. And even if in this case they didn't go with the 3D, they didn't break too much with the 3D, they did what we were talking about earlier, just with the texture and material, which will do a lot just by adding variation in the material, or like, you know, like they did here, they had like a colorful line on the floor. You know, this will you know, help. And another thing that to point out is the signage. Like you can see here, we got exit, and obviously this is it's very good for leading players in an interior space, having signage and guiding players in this way. I don't know if these signs would be appropriate to be here around the cells, but you know, probably they thought that it's better to have it here, even if it's not maybe realistic to have in this location here, so that players know that when they go through this door here, they will be able to find an exit. I like how dramatic that door opening was. The sound of it was like really good. So here, one thing that I want to point out is that in a safe way, because when we got here, the cinematic kind of starts. Players learns that the visual language of these things, which are probably unbreakable. You know, everything else in the road were breakable, but probably when you saw this, you will see like the car will not be able to go through. And it's very nice that the signpost that will light. You can see there's like this sort of light here, which is pretty cool, because I think the players are getting used that everything is almost breakable in the road. So when they now see a black post with a red light on it, they will definitely understand that they can mess around with those in the car. They will have to, you know, leave and do whatever they have to do. And yeah, I just want to point out that because that was really cool. Yeah, Slow. And if you put points to the challenge, Porto will dance for 1 minute the spaghetti dance.
Yeah, not this time though. On the next live stream. I need to prepare myself for it. So I didn't know that actually could be possible.
It was good of you to stay behind.
Yeah.
I think we need to watch the clip and save it forever and blackmailing him when he gets his next job.
Are you without pants? No, I have pants.
Obviously, as we said at the beginning, the Batman logo in the sky with the light is definitely a smart way in this Batman universe to signpost where you have to go with a mission. Instead of, so it's literally the golden marker of the. Actually, no, there is another UI golden marker, but it's almost like a golden marker, a visual golden marker of the game. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I forgot to cut this part.
What happened here?
Find it. Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't unable to find the entrance.
That's why we need golden markets for players.
Okay.
Again, guys, if you have any question, if we are wearing pants or like other game related question, feel free to ask in the chat. I'm telling you, wear bad pants. Yeah, Borto is wearing bad pants.
Do I come in the Batcave to start messing with all your stuff?
I guess we could skip this part.
Its core elements.
So
But there's nothing in there that we.
Okay, let's skip it. Yeah,
a lot of talking.
it's good that you didn't cut that.
Forgot about it. I cut only the tutorials actually. I didn't think about these parts.
Man, I can't believe how quick they got everyone out of the city. We should make this a regular thing.
It's really cool. So you can literally fly and go around and.
So we have. Wait for it.
A question time. Let's go.
A question like, because like Marco Brito said, it's not a precision question, but it's actually he would like to know how to talk about money, and how to receive feedbacks and something like this.
So the office is real, by the way, guys. We are a fake. Don't confuse the thing. So, do you have anything in specific, Marco, that you want to ask about career advice and how to talk about money? I think, usually money it's a bit of a taboo, but with experience, you're gonna learn that you're not gonna be afraid to ask for money when you have your interview. And that's something that I learned. At the beginning, I was more like, all right, I'll accept whatever offer, doesn't matter the money. But now I'm like, if the money are not part of the offer, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't accept a new offer or something like that. And
I think it's a taboo in some countries. In Italy, it's a big taboo, money. But I feel like in the US or a country like that, it's not a very taboo. Do you feel it like a taboo there in Canada? Or
yeah, I think it's taboo both in Canada and in England when I was living. It's kind of a taboo.
I see.
Because every time I was speaking with colleagues from there about money, about salaries and things like that, they were always like, a bit...
Yeah. I see.
Exactly. So I guess Entrance makes a good point, because I guess maybe company doesn't want you to share your salary with other people, so that they can keep difference between the salary and keep low salary against high salary and things like that. But I think we shouldn't be afraid of talking about money, and I think I don't know. I think it shouldn't feel like a taboo to speak about money. But for sure, when you are interviewing for a company and talking about money and compensation, bonuses, these kind of things, definitely be in the mindset of not being afraid of asking money, because we got that perception that, especially in art related department, living by making art is not like, it's something that is no one ever say that it's true. Never. But it's actually true now. And right now, like in this world where we make a lot of art in the film, in the games, I think that's just a job like the other ones, and you need to be clear and don't be afraid of telling the company and the recruiter or whoever you're speaking with your price and what's your range.
But I agree with Doglio that it's not, in my opinion and in Doglio's opinion, related to company and employees, but it's more like between employees. The taboo is there, maybe because it's creates some envy between employees, and they don't really want to share their cut because maybe it's lower than yours, and I feel bad about it because I make question about my work. Why do I get paid less than you, and stuff like that?
Yeah, and also like on the other side, you can either get it in that way, but you can also get it like, oh, it's getting more than me. Now I want to get more, and then you complain to
So
the company. You're like, right, I want more now, and they're like, oh, okay. And either they accept you, or they negotiate with you, or you decide to leave. So I guess the companies are trying to keep it low, so that people don't share that information with each other, and so in that way they prevent that kind of situation from happening. But it happens in any way, right?
Yeah. Cool. That was a nice discussion. Company job is to make money.
Yeah. So the less they can pay you, the better. So if you don't know that your colleague that does the same thing you takes more than you, it will be a win for them, I guess.
No, wait for what? Oh, you agree with Leo? Okay.
Yeah. Please never agree with Borto.
Hola, Barculo.
Hola, Barculo. I am above average in Canada, and we can talk about money. Like, if you call me, if you want, like, you can find me on Discord. We can talk about money. I just don't feel like it's appropriate to talk about money so publicly, and I'm not sure I'm even allowed to talk about my salary based on my NDA. But I might be wrong. But yeah, if you chat with me, I can give you some rough numbers maybe, and I can help you understand what's the price range of my job and things. Yeah, we know what you were joking. Yeah, you're not right.
So you do some extra work, like producing and selling assets by yourself?
I used to work with a good friend of mine, which is called Lorenzo Conticelli, and now is working on a very cool project, which is called Mathe. And together we were working as a freelance and working for like many companies. We were like doing a lot of work outside the normal full-time job, and it was really cool, and it was like nice to have that extra income. But at the same time, we were really going outside much. We weren't really like living, and now I'm trying to balance better my work-life balance so that I can spend more things, doing other things for work.
Are you balancing it with spaghetti games now?
Yeah, with spaghetti games, it's starting to get hard to balance that, but I try my best. So I always try to optimize the process so that I can finish things earlier than I wouldn't. And yeah, apart from that, I think one thing that I could be done that I do as well is to make tutorials and things that for the community, because I like sharing knowledge and helping the community. But I don't know, I feel like it's hard for me to ask money to people who doesn't have money, which is students or beginners. So I usually give them for free, and I let them decide if they want to offer something in exchange of that content, because I feel bad.
What a good boy.
What a good boy. How do we separate things? How do we balancing? Okay. What I try to do, let's say that we need to edit the video for the highlights for Spaghetti Game. I try to measure myself how long it takes to do that, and then I see in the grand scheme of the month or the week, and I see how many hours I will spend on this project, and if there is if that but that hours that I allocated for this project goes beyond what I'm expecting, then I will talk with Porto and we say, oh, we need to cut the highlights because I don't have time for that or something like that. And I hope it's gonna be the same for him. And yeah, I think
in general, we
Excel a list of things that you do in the month and try to figure out how much time of your week you want to spend on each of them, and it's basically based on what you value most. So
we also find ways to automate our work. So, for example, we find tools that accelerate the highlight making, or plan the social posts and stuff like that. So we try to do that part of the job in a more speedy way.
Exactly. Hope that answered your question. Let's go back to the video. If you got more questions, obviously, feel free to ask. It's good to have some breaks like that. So again, we got that nice signpost, Batman lights from the sky. Got some problem with Borto's navigation. I saw some cables on that rooftop and I was curious to see where those cables were leading, but probably someone didn't notice them.
How is made it truly spaghetti? What do you mean?
How do you cook spaghetti? Like, what's your...
Oh, the real spaghetti.
And you got a lot of people judging here, so let's see.
Well, I usually buy the pasta and boil it, and that's it. I put it sauce on it.
Power winch ready for deployment.
It's 100% functional.
I don't actually make pasta. What? Do you make it differently? Do you actually do pasta there in Canada? Do you find it?
Yeah, you can find a maid as well, but like the way that you describe it is very like, how was your day? Good. You should have added more context to the way you explain it, because you give it for granted how you make things and how the sauce is made, but a lot of people, ketchup is the sauce, right? So you need to explain. This is like a sauce that you made, you boil on a fry pan, and you put some oil, you put maybe some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil and things like that.
I see, but I'm one of those person that if he needs to actually cook something, he just do it because he needs to eat, and that's it, not because there's a passion about it.
Don't listen to him, guys. Don't listen to him. But yeah, answering lighting Jack 93. Yeah, I think we can do that. Do you have something in mind that you would like to see? Better if it's on a PC, because we don't have a PlayStation 4 because we sold them, and we don't have a PlayStation 5 because we are unbuyable. So if you have any suggestion that we can find on
actually
PC.
Portal would be great.
Yeah.
Portal 2 is...
If you want to see Portal, there's also Tomb Raider or like other things like that. Feel free to...
She's one of a kind.
Yeah, we can put Portal in the queue. So let's see where we are now. It sounded like a dinosaur. I know people like dinosaurs in this chat, so Granducato di Narnia is like a big fan of dinosaurs, so I hope he appreciated that sound.
Really? There was a time in my life where I wanted to study to become a paleontologist.
What happened to that?
I didn't have the money to pay university.
Okay.
And maybe it wasn't so strong, the idea to becoming one.
Look at it. We got a puzzle here. You need to slide around things.
Yeah.
So one thing that I saw that was really cool, if I can place it in here, is the details that you see on the edge. So whenever you get a chance, I think I didn't get a screenshot, did I? I didn't get a screenshot. Let me get a screenshot of that. Just a second.
I think you also need to change the scene.
Okay, so one thing that is really good that I did here, whenever you have a boring silhouette, like a line of the rooftop, like in this case, obviously try to break it. And in this case, they did a really good job with some grass spawning on these little ledges here. And yeah, I just want to point out that try, like when you got lines instead of nice silhouette, try to break those lines and make something more interesting for the eyes. Unless you're doing something very specific and you want a line to have the contrast from other things that are more organic, that's fine too. Because as always, like the good things about one thing that you need to keep in mind is to add contrast. So if you have a silhouette that is like that, which is kind of organic, and then you got a line, and then you got that thing like that, there is a contrast between this type of shapes and this shape here. So if you do something like that, you will see naturally this part here, which I'm gonna highlight in blue, it will pop out more than these ones. This one here, and that might be where you have to go or something like that. So in general, use the silhouette of objects to add details, contrast, player leading to the thing. For example, if we have a rocky environment like that, and there's another mountain here that ends there and goes down like that, and then there is another mountain that goes something like that, and we got the sky here, you can see how, let me draw that, how the sky is sort of creating a line pointing where you have to go. And if that match with where you have to go, that's a big win, because you are leading the player not only with the gameplay around the environment that the players are playing, but also with the backdrop or the background, whatever it is. So, and again, this just to make silhouette more interesting. So in this case here, they added this grass just to add a bit more details on these otherwise boring lines of the roof. Yeah, you're destroying Gotham. Yeah, I think we can put Tomb Raider and Portal in the list of next game to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have some problem here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That was the first time, so I didn't really know that was possible.
So another thing here, same as what we were saying earlier. You see how the vine is nicely adding information to the silhouette of this thing. So again, details really helps, and like breaking the silhouette really adds details. And talking about light, you can see how there's a light somewhere. I think that one, which is like from the top, and that's very good. Like in general, lights from the top, as we said earlier, is very good to signpost the area where you want the player to go. There is a light here, and even before when Borto started to put the car on top of the wall, there was a light on that platform that was signposting where you have to go. And as you can see here, because the light is on the top, like we said earlier, there is a lack of material roughness, contrast information. You can see it's kind of flat because the light's from the top, but at least everything is very well signposted. So that's a good example of how, a light that signposts where to go, but doesn't add that very cool specular details that we saw earlier.
So Marcos asked if, in your opinion, 3D is a market or art or technology? Market, art, or technology?
What do you think, Borton?
I think it's kind of both art and technology. But with market of okay, so there was a typo.
Great.
A market
I'm
of
connected
art
now.
or technology?
I was just talking to Robin.
So in my opinion, it's
We can find Scarecrow faster together.
it's
What
both.
you're working on is more important.
Art, because when you're making this environment, these things, all the fundamentals that goes behind traditional art, like 2D painting, they are also used here. So like composition, contrast, lighting, shape language, and all that stuff. It's also present in the way that we work. So I think in that way you can see these games or in general films as a piece of art of this decade, and technology as well, because most of the time a big company, they really try to push the technology that we currently have to the next level in terms of what we do with the games. But I think games they are in a way merging the technology and the art together. So I think both.
You know, there was a time when 3D artists were actually engineers, because you needed to be very good at math and stuff like that to actually work with a 3D engine. But nowadays, the tools that are available are so friendly for the final user that people with more of a sense of art can, join the field. So you like to see God of War, Last of Us, Assassin's Creed, Rayman, Hitman, Until Dawn. Okay, you mentioned 4 games for PlayStation, and the other one are Assassin's Creed, Rayman, and Hitman. Hitman would be nice. Rayman, that's a curious pick, but I think it could be interesting.
The door stays locked. I'm taking no chances. Got it, boss.
Yeah. Don't know if I can look at games that my company made. So maybe we will pass on Rayman, but we can see Ori, or we can see another Ubisoft game.
So Hitman, because it's the only one available in the list.
Yeah.
You need to hydrate.
Yeah, I drank already.
Okay.
So there was a ladder there. Let's see if we see it again. But usually navigation elements like ladders, like ledges, like handles of doors. If in your game you can open the door, they are all key colored with a specific color or a specific visual language. So in that case, it looks like orange. So the ladders are all orange. So that will help your brain to quickly identify the ladders, because you know that the ladders are orange and they pop out from the environment a bit more, and that will help improve the navigation.
They think they're safe if they stick together.
What about random layout creation with Minecraft?
Got a hostage situation. 3
What's that?
I need to take them all
Do
out
you know?
before they can react. Is it ready?
Flexible plates over an MR
I don't know, I guess it's procedurally generated world in Minecraft. I'm a bit scared about that.
Send it, Lucius. Now.
Already airborne, Mr. Wayne.
Yeah, For Honor is a pretty cool game. And I'm not sure we will be able to look at that, but maybe in the future, who knows? Who knows? I don't understand what you're doing here. Like, you're jumping around all the time, but you're never doing anything. Is that the game? How the game works? It's like you.
I think it's a problem with me.
Okay.
Random maps in Minecraft will be awesome. But I still don't understand this thing. You like to see, analyze random maps generated in Minecraft?
Oh, we got new equipment here.
Oh, we do. Oh. Oh, sorry. I read the craft and I linked it to the Minecraft message before. Herp derp.
Cool, we're down here. We got the thing. One thing that is really cool. Oh my god, I didn't get the right frame, but let me see. Okay, this is better, I guess. So as you can see here, that's the ladder that I was talking about. And you can see, usually ladders like that are made of metal, like aluminum or something. So they're not very colorful. But because we are in a game and because those are part of the navigation, we highlight them more by giving them some colors, so that they pops out more from the environment. And then the color that we give to these ladders is the same color that we're gonna use on the interactable object in the navigation system of the game. So if we have ledges, or let's imagine there is a ledge here that you can climb, and there's like a tap going down, or like, I don't know, paint on it, we will use the same sort of colors. If the door has an handle, it will have the same sort of color. So we try to simplify the navigation interactable assets by using the same color. Another thing that I want to point out in this shot is the movement. You can see here there is a police tape thing that is like moving around when we left to right. And in general, in games, we try, especially when I make an environment, I always try to add the elements that moves to make the environment less static, like less 3D. So, things like that, tabs moving, trees with the wind, fan spinning, or light flickering, of electricity sparking. All of those things really help to add a bit of movement to your environment, which is something that you should try to achieve.
3 gunmen, 1 hostage. Time to put this suit to the test.
What the hell was that? You just call it backup? What's happening? Shut up! I'm trying to flush this out.
The new suit is faster and more mobile. By getting close without being...
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that. Such a badass.
Man, they said you were quick, but I never saw anyone take down 3 armed guys like that.
It could be interesting to do a co-op game.
Tell me you're gonna find
another game that we were thinking, I was thinking to play was Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And maybe playing a full co-op.
I have it. I love it. But
Oracle, I've attached the uplink to the microwave tower.
Perfect. I made
it's kind of difficult because there are tons of islands, and the majority of the part you spend in the sea.
Yeah, those parts we're gonna cut, but don't worry.
Okay, both
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The sea is so lovely in Sea of Thieves, I will keep it. Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah, that's cool too. and they actually did a
Built
porting
antennas
for
to identify
PC.
the micro and radio wave frequencies across
Jan is a
Gotham.
hidden gem. Thank
If I
you
can
so
find
much.
both frequencies at the same location, I'll know where
Get a
Scarecrow.
city. So one thing that is cool here that you can see from this shot, and probably we will also be able to see in game, is how you can see three distinct areas. So you can see this area, and that area, and there's something there, but I don't know what that is. And you can see the tone of lights and the characters of this area is different. So in this case here, we got this light here, and that in this case here we got blue, and in this case we got more like an orangish, I guess. Maybe it's similar. It's very similar actually. Somehow it feels like more orange, maybe some light. Let's pretend that it's orange. So in this way, we are creating different area of the map, and that's a really good things to do. And you can see that happening also in real life. If you go to a museum, for example, you will see that the areas are color coded so that people and visitors are better able to orientate themselves within the the space that they're navigating. For example, I think those like area here are all connected with the bridges or like some sort of connection there, and probably those bridges are very unique, which remind the player that they are moving between one area to the other. And yeah, in general, I think it's a really good way to again create contrast in terms of area of a city, area of a world, different things, so that players can experience different colors, different light, different type of lighting, different type of enemies, different faction, different vegetation, different things to create contrast and make add variety to the experience of the player. And I think in this shot you can see a bit how they did that. And on top of that, probably we will be able to see also some layout of the road differences. Like, I don't know if that's true, but I'm just looking at it and I can see how on this part of the island there are a lot of circular thing. So it's very like rounded or something. Where in here is more let's use the green. I don't see many turns, but it's very like junctions, and that's all things that you try to like visual language and visual shape that you try to have on different part of the world. And I think that I say is that that I see is that this part of the map is very tall, which means that you're gonna be spending a lot of time in the vertical navigation in this here, and this one instead is very short. So everything here is very like short. You don't have like a lot of tall buildings sticking out. And same here, we got like some tall building sticking out, which are not as tall as that. And in general, you can see how different these areas are by all these little elements, which can be shape, color, images, type of faction, the way that the streets are dressed, and etc. And that's in fact to create a bit of diversity in the gameplay and the way that the players experience the space. And lastly, I think most of when you're making different regions, it's very important to add landmark to the regions, because if you go in a famous city, let's say Paris, right? From most of the angle of Paris, when you can see the horizon, you will be able to see the tower, the Eiffel Tower, and that's a good way to orientate yourself on where you are in the city. So in the same way, you can add landmark like this building here, which might have like something that is unique that you always see wherever you are. And in this case, in this other side of the map, I think this other building is the landmark, which is pretty cool. I don't know what's the landmark here. Probably is I don't know, maybe there is no landmark, and the fact that there is no landmark is a landmark itself, because that when you are in this part of the city, you know that you're not on the other two. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be something here that sticks out more than others that will work as a landmark for this area as well. And it's nice to see how in the middle there is like this sort of tower statue thing, which is signposting, you know, where the middle is. Every time players will be able to see that, they will be able to know that they are very close to the edge of another region. So in this case, Batman is set in a city, and the way that they differentiate the different areas, like with color, type of building, probably type of gameplay, different type of navigation in the space, and probably different type of mission as well. In other games, you can see that divided in terms of type of vegetation you have or type of environment you have around. So for example, if you have a swamp area, or you got mountains, or you got like a more rocky environment, or you know, all this kind of thing creates that sort of visual distinction between regions and part of the map. So in this case, obviously it's a city, so they try to recreate the same sort of diversification by using the tools that they had. Hope that makes sense.
His toxin.
That thing about if there's no landmark, it's a landmark in itself blew my mind. Like,
it's definitely a landmark itself in terms of it will let you know that you are in that part of the city that doesn't have any landmark, so there's nothing sticking out, and that gives you, you know, a reminder that you are in that area. But in general, I think it's really good to have landmarks everywhere, even in that area, just to know in which part of that region, of that part of the city you are. If you're like north, east, west.
Crane must have bought them off, or worse.
I'm in the area. I'll round up my guys and head over.
Hold off until I get there, Jim. I'm on my way.
so we are coming to an end in 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, now is the time to drop them in the chat.
So Bakulo, I think I had a question. What's the smartest way to add the general dirt and where on the scene? Like that where the mesh connects, etc. I think the smart way is to do it in a logic way. So when you add dirt, try to ground it to what's around. For example, if you want to add a puddle, make sure that you got either it's an outdoor scene, so it's raining, or if it's an indoor, you got like a broken pipe that might tell the story that the water might come from that thing, or something like that. If you add like I don't know, dirt, if you want to just add like normal dirt, like from the ground, you need to make, and you are like an indoor, you need to make sure that maybe there is a planter nearby, that and the planter is tilted on the ground and it's spilled all the dirt, so you can have dirt around it, and you can justify why there is more dirt in that room rather than having just a dirt without no real reason.
We think there's a skeleton.
And I think in general, when you build something, try to connect that something to something else, and that's how you add that level of that's how you make the environment believable, and you add that level of storytelling. Hope that answers your question, Marcool. Always, like, whenever you add like dirt, try to make sense with it. If there are leaves on the ground, make sure that there is a tree, or like a broken tree or something that shows us that where the leaves are coming from. If there is water, put a pipe, or put like water dripping, or like water flowing or raining. If there is dirt, make sure that there is dirt nearby, or a planter with a dirt inside, and things like that. If there is like oil, like a stain, make sure that there is stain, like something that can produce that stain around. Maybe it's a parking space where car goes and car parks, or stuff like that. On the dirt and variation on the wall, for example, if you have I'm gonna lower a bit the volume here. If you have metal pipes connected to the wall, from the metal pipes you can have a bit of dripping effect on the wall, which shows that the water hitting the metal are kind of oxidating it, and then it's like flowing on the wall and staining the wall with that leaking decal. You know, so always like try to connect the debt that you try to add with something else, so that people can do 1+1 kind of thing. I think that's what you want to do. So if you guys have any other question, we are 7 minutes away from the end of this. So if you have, please ask it now. I see King Dalo is asking, no meme?
No, this time no. We keep it for the Tuesday episode. So just a quick reminder, we usually stream on Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday is a great day for memes. Thursday not. So
that's a new direction that I just learned now too. So glad that.
So
for the technical side, I think it depends on what type of project you're using, and there is pro and cons on all of them. A cons of vertex painting is that because from where you are far away from an object, the larger loads out and reduce of polygons, you might lose the quality of the mask that you are painting with on the vertex. So unless that mask it's not very like detailed and you don't need to, it doesn't really pop out, you can do that. Otherwise I would recommend to use more like decals, or maybe integrate it in the way that you create assets or things like that. So yeah, channel masking in case you want to add that level of crunchiness on the assets.
Or is there a vent outside?
So usually like this sort of vents here that then which vents? The one that the Batman went in? Is that the vents you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because you know, yeah, usually this type of vents are this type of layout in terms of where the vents are made by the level designer. So the level designer decides what's best in terms of fun for the game. So you see this and like, oh, I want the vents to go there, and then since the Batman was coming from that direction, probably they really wanted the fan opening to be, the vents to be there, so that you can get straight into it and approach this mission a stealth way, which doesn't really make sense in the way that it's placed probably, but I guess it works for the experience and the fun of this little bit of the mission. Is that correct? In tranche? Also, another thing that is very important, and that's back to what you were asking, Balculo, is that when you add cables or pipes, try to always connect those pipes and cable to things that make sense. So in this case, there was cable going to that panel there, and I hope the cables flow somewhere and connect to something else, and that's, you know, a good practice that to do when you're making this sort of environment. You could have covered the whole floor with the grades then, and then use the vents in there specifically. Yeah, they could have done that. Don't know.
Yeah, but you could see Batman through the grates, no? If it's all grates, then one, let's say, NPC that looks on the ground can see Batman going around. But if it's channeled, that's actually a funny nickname.
Yeah. Cool. I think we are gonna close it here if you guys don't have any other questions. If you,
It's a famous nickname. I see.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I think Batman is a really cool game that I feel like I want to play it now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as always, like Lightning Jack 93 was saying, if you guys have any suggestions for what game you want to see next, feel free to comment it down below and let us know in the Discord channel or somewhere. It's very appreciated. And if you have any feedback, as always, we just started with this live thing, so we're not really, there yet, in my opinion. But we are always improving, always learning. So if you guys want to help us learning fast, please provide us with the feedback to how to do that. And I know some of you already did, so and we will appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. There's also a Google form down in the description, so you can put your feedback also in there. But in general, you can join our server and keep updated with our latest content and know when we are going live, or just giving suggestions or have a chat. So thank you as always, everyone.
Thank you as always, and have a good day.
See you next time.
See you next time. And by the way, guys, we're gonna read the 3D mentor because it's a really good guy and he's teaching and helping students to how to do 3D. So stick with him.